Hello. Today's artists look to be an extraordinary lot. Their submissions include clouds, bandages, and a distorted face.
Sounds like a memorable night out I had back in the 90s.
Welcome to Portrait Artist of the Year.
Last week, the first artist to gain a place in the semi-final was music student Anna Loy, who wowed the judges with her sensitive rendition of pop star Fleur East.
I've never had, like, formal art training, so to be told that not only am I all right, but I'm quite good.
In today's heat, we're joined by 9 more artists who are gearing themselves up to gain their place in the semi-final.
I like to have loads of time. I like to be on my own. None of those things are true right now.
At stake is a phenomenal prize, a £10,000 commission to paint renowned conservationist Dr. Jane Goodall for the National Portrait Gallery.
But first, they must impress our 3 judges. Art historian Kate Bryan, award-winning artist Taishan Schierenberg, and independent curator Kathleen Soriano.
You don't follow rules, do you? It seems to be like you...
But I'm an artist.
With only 5 places left in the semi-final, the artists must throw everything at it to be one step closer to becoming the next Portrait Artist of the Year.
You pulled this out of a mouse's backside?
I did, yeah.
Right. OK, well, that's not the answer I was expecting, but it's good.
The artists travelling from across the UK to be here today are Paul Aston, a horticulturist from Cambridge, Gail Reid, a Bristol-based full-time artist, Eleanor Dunn, an artist and bartender living in Leeds, and Leroy Zozo, a professional artist who grew up living in London and France.
Today, I'm feeling good. I'm ready to put the work on. So, yeah, today's the day.
Joining them are Drew Thompson, a full-time artist based in Glasgow, Emma Hill from London, who works as a PR consultant and copywriter, Maria Underwood, who lives in Deal, where she's a professional artist, Dale Sinoia, a customer care agent living in Swansea, and Caroline de Pericave, a Surrey-based full-time artist.
My dream sitter today would be a man. I do love a bit of curly locks.
As the artists prepare for their upcoming challenge, the judges take a look at today's submissions.
9 fresh artists await us on this wall. Wakey, wakey. Look at this fella here.
It's almost like a traditional pastoral painting with that lovely scene in the background. But then you've got this very contemporary, modern portrait, and it's really well observed.
You get the sense of a busy, full studio, but what you're really looking at is the artist looking at themselves.
It's tough being an artist, surrounded by lots of work that nobody else is interested in.
Wait, can I just get my violin? I'll be right back. What's happened here?
What's so clever about this work is the way in which the hands are positioned gives the head real depth, and the bandages really add to that sense of depth as well.
This is a nice, quizzical look at himself.
I love the combination of this fantastic green and the sandy colour that he's using. There's not very much there, but it feels completely convincing.
Now then, just radiates confidence.
It's in the tradition of the swagger portrait.
It is in that tradition of great male self-portraiture, but this is very much an incredibly beautiful woman in it. You know, she's wearing the trousers, she's got the legs apart, like a great male...
Man-spreader.
Man-spreader, yeah.
A lovely, alive moment captured here.
The contrast between the orange shirt and the blue sky, it really gives it a kick. And then you get into the expression and you're wondering, is he trying to be understood?
The artist is actually a stammerer, and this is him expressing how it feels in that moment. This is gorgeous, isn't it?
It's truly gorgeous, and what I like is that you have to fight to find it. And then once you've done that, you feel a real connection with that direct gaze.
This feels full of pain.
We see a lot of work where artists try to disrupt our view of the image, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. The disruption feels like something more here, and I think it works very well.
Interesting pose, interesting cropping.
It feels sort of, yeah, athletic to me, or
okay.
balletic.
Oh, really? I thought she was feeding the cat and you just can't see the bowl. I mean, this one stopped us in our tracks when we were looking through all the submissions.
It's a very convoluted way to put a figure into a rectangle, yet the head is very beautifully painted.
Well, here we go, 9 artists. What will they produce today? Artists, your sitter today is a broadcaster who started off as a rapper and music promoter before working his way up the radio ranks to host an award-winning BBC 5 Live show. It's Nihal Arthanayaka.
Nice to meet you. Well, nice to meet you.
Really nice to meet you.
Hello. How are you? All right.
Oh,
Have a seat. This is your home for the day.
Oh, wow. Well, this is perfectly natural, isn't it?
You sit for a living, don't you?
I do, but I don't see anyone. So this is like a huge audience for me. This is like Wembley Stadium for me. All these people here, yeah.
You're a talker by profession. Are you going to be chatty today, do you think?
I am a professional conversationalist.
Yeah.
So, yes, I think so. Feel free to just tell me to shut up and sit still.
Nihal, we asked you to bring along something that meant something to you. What have you got with you?
Headphones are an essential part of everything that I do and have done for 2 decades, so that's why they're there.
I wish you well.
Thanks.
Good luck, everybody.
Thank you.
Artist, your sitter is a dab hand at judging other people's work because he's been the Observer food critic since the 90s. So, will he judge your work to be a feast for his eyes or a dog's dinner? Please welcome Jay Rayner. Lovely to meet you.
Right. Hello.
Oh, nice to see you. Oh, nice to see you. Come and sit down. How do you feel about coming here today?
I have an odd relationship with this. There's a lot of geography here. Don't feel the need to be too honest.
Now, there's something else about your life
Yeah.
which is reflected in what you brought along.
Yeah. I have a sideline as a jazz pianist, so my cufflinks are little piano keys.
They're very attractive, but it's not a sideline, it's quite a major part of your life.
It is a major part of my life. We gig 20 to 25 times a year, and I am often to be found at home at the piano.
That's wonderful. Have a good day.
Artists, your sitter today has graced our homes, or more specifically, our breakfast tables, for nearly a decade. She showed remarkable restraint, sitting alongside Piers Morgan, and has interviewed everyone from David Beckham to Boris Johnson to, well, me. Please welcome Susanna Reid.
Hello, lovely. How are you? Hello. Hello. Look, we're matching.
How are you?
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. Have a seat.
Thank you very much. Wow, this is amazing.
Welcome. Are you a morning person? Is the afternoon going to be tricky for you?
I have to be a morning person, but afternoons are fine. Once I've had a nap, I'm up and ready to go.
Well, you can have a nap today. No one will mind.
Yeah.
Tell us about the object you brought with you, Susanna.
This is a mug I bought with my children when we went on a huge trip to Japan. So memories of times with my children are what keep me going.
Wonderful. Right, artists, you have a fantastic sitter. Enjoy the day. Good luck, everybody.
Good luck.
Artists, you have 4 hours to complete your portrait in your own unique style. Good luck, everyone. Your time starts now.
I would love a full straight-on shot with eye contact.
You want straight on?
Yes, please, thank you.
Can you twist your upper body even more to me and maybe drape your arms this way a little bit? Perfect.
Suzanne, I paint from life. So
Yes.
if you could hold the same position. Lovely.
I have a tendency for my resting face to make me look cross.
Oh, OK.
I'm not cross.
I like that one, I like that one.
In terms of composition, I've got his head angled slightly and I'm trying to get quite an intimate feel. He has got this fantastic suit on. I think by the end of that day, I'll either love his tailor or hate his tailor. So yes, we'll see how that one goes.
Paul Aston is from Cambridge and is a horticulturalist at a botanic garden. His submission, painted in oil on board, took 8 days to create and was inspired by Bellini's St. Francis in the Desert.
So, Paul, one of the things I really loved about your self-portrait was there's a real sense of movement.
I have been working on a series of portraits of people who stutter.
Oh, OK.
And often are people who stutter use lots of hand gestures just to animate their speech. So I wanted to capture that aspect.
I was also taken with the gradation of colour, and I'm just wondering whether the colours here today are also going to help you in that way.
I love the orange of the background, which picks up nicely in his clothing. I do like painting in orange, yeah, so I am quite pleased, yeah.
I'm really slow at everything, pretty much. Normally, my portraits take me about 3 to 4 weeks, depending on what size, but it's a competition now, right now. You can't exactly get that time to kind of like, oh, let me go to bed or let me go play some games a little bit and then come back kind of thing.
Dale Signoya lives in Swansea and is a customer care agent for an energy company. This is the first time he's shown his self-portrait to anyone. It was created in charcoal and pencil on watercolour paper over the course of 3 weeks.
Dale.
Hello.
Your submission was just an absolute virtuoso piece. Have you found an equivalent way of working in a day?
Yeah, I'll probably create shortcuts on the clothing, but my main focus is his face. If I can get the face right on the first sketch, everything else for me is kind of like smooth.
Well, it's fantastic to see this very mathematical sheet of paper turn into a portrait by the end of the day. I'm really excited to watch it happen.
Thank you so much, yeah.
While some artists labour over their precise sketches, others are keen to get paint straight onto the canvas.
Well, Gail, do you know, on first impulse, it looks like Oscar Wilde.
Yes,
Do you
thank
see that?
I do.
Are you going to keep it this colour?
No, this is the underpainting.
And then the colour will go on top?
It will.
Gail Reid is a full-time artist from Bristol. Her self-portrait, painted in oil on canvas, took 15 hours to complete. It depicts her in her chilly studio and was created as part of a daily painting challenge. So tell me about the kit you're using.
Well, this is my late granny's paintbrush. So I inherited her knitting needles and her brushes.
Oh, very nice.
And then this was a 50th birthday present from my daughter. She's over there somewhere. So she made this herself.
Oh, how
and
charming.
It's wonderful to bundle all my pencils.
That's wonderful.
Yes,
the whole
indeed.
family is vested in this
Indeed.
painting.
Yes, no pressure.
No pressure, it's wonderful.
Drew, well, you've got Susanna already.
Thank you very much.
The eyes are a void at the moment. What's happening to
Yeah,
those?
so I'm working bigger shapes, getting smaller, so I'll get to the eyes at the end, but I do know I need to do the eyes.
You
as
do
well.
need to do the eyes, yeah.
It's going to be important, isn't it?
Drew Thompson lives in Glasgow and has recently become a full-time artist. His self-portrait, produced in oil on canvas, took 12 hours to paint. It's a reflective piece, looking back at the big decision to leave his retail career before undertaking his first solo art show.
What's going on with your mahl stick? Did you steal this off a clown? What is
I
this?
stole it off one of my kids' toys.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What was the toy?
It was a mouse. It was
A mouse?
a roll-along mouse that was screwed into its
see.
into its behind.
Oh, so you pulled this out of a mouse's backside?
I did, yeah.
Right. OK, well, that's not the answer I was expecting, but it's good. I'll leave you to your sketch.
Thank you very much.
And I look forward to seeing the paint hitting the canvas.
Me too.
The artists have been painting their portraits for 1 hour.
Comme ça, boom. Ici, ici, ici.
It's starting to come together. The thing that scares me the most is standing back at the end and that the eyes are too close together or the ears in the wrong place.
I've started again because my grid lines were too small, so it's just a matter of me getting to finish it.
I'm just finishing the background now, and so my next thing is to block in the figure. I'm approaching the stage where it goes horribly pear-shaped.
Our 9 artists have spent 1 hour fawning over the features of today's sitters. Food critic Jay Rayner, presenter Susanna Reid, and broadcaster Nihal Arthanayaka.
How are we doing, Paul?
A bit less panic now.
Leroy, c'est bon ça?
C'est bon.
Oui. Maria?
I think I've just finished the drawing.
Oh, wow, OK.
Maria, that is already a really interesting composition.
Well, I was looking for a composition that had movement in it, and I like the interesting crop. So it's quite a diagonal composition, and hopefully that's very pleasing.
Maria Underwood from Deal was a nutritional therapist, but is now a full-time artist. Her self-portrait, created in oil on canvas, shows her love of painting full, moving figures, and took 28 hours to produce.
What's nice is you're using this permanent marker
Yeah.
to fix the drawing.
Yeah, I'm going to do the pattern in the horse jacket, and that enables the eye to then focus on the face.
So what happens with the orange background?
I'm not going to paint the backgrounds.
The amount of effort gone into...
I know, I'm really sorry. Well, I am going to
And
have...
it is his favourite colour.
Nahad has beautiful skin tones, and I'll pick up the orange in the skin tones, I think.
Oh, I see.
I have yummy skin.
Stop it.
So far, I've done a full outline, and now I'm just doing the features. I'm working in graphite pencil. A lot of people do drawing as a preliminary thing for painting, but not many people have it as their entire medium. And I think it is discouraged. I was discouraged from it throughout education, but it feels good to stick with it now.
Eleanor Dunn lives in Leeds, where she's a full-time artist who bartends at an independent music venue. She drew her self-portrait in graphite on paper in 5 days during an unhappy time. The distortions were chosen to show things were out of place in her life.
Eleanor, talk to me about these interesting ruptures that you put into your submission.
I do it in different ways in different pieces depending on what the concept is behind it.
Mhm.
I have an idea in my head and I'm like, ooh, what can I do with this one?
And so what's the idea today?
So I'm trying to incorporate the circle shape in there somehow. And I have an idea, but I
Is
don't know
this
what's
it
going
here?
on.
One
Yeah,
there
so there's
and
one
one
there
there,
and one
yeah.
there. I tried to sketch them in on the 17th, 19th and 21st squares on the grid, because those are the ages of her children. And now I'm kind of like, maybe I went a step too far and made it too complicated for myself, because the ages happen to fall on really important parts of her face, and I can't really miss them out.
Suzanne has a beautiful warmth to her colouring, and her personality feels that way. The red and the blue accentuate the warmth of her complexion. I'm getting a feel for her. That's how I work. I'm getting some colour blocks down, and then I will build her face into that.
Emma Hill is a freelance PR consultant and copywriter and part-time artist from London. Her self-portrait took 15 hours to paint in oil on canvas. It shows her looking forward to her future as an artist, but with a sadness that that future won't include her beloved late mother.
How you doing, Emma?
I'm good, thank you.
Are you?
Yeah.
She laughed nervously.
Yeah, well, I'm getting into it now. It's about painting.
Yeah.
It's quite an emotional sort of experience. I'm hoping that I create something different, a piece of art.
Yeah. Well, I wish you well today.
Thank you.
You've got to be exhausted at the end of the day, aren't you?
I've got a banana down there to
Okay,
keep me
good.
going.
As well as having a face to focus on, our artists had the option of incorporating the sitter's object, which holds a special significance for them.
Susanna, tell me more about the mug.
It's from Japan, and it's a reminder of a huge holiday that I took the boys on. It's also, a mug is something that I grip onto when I'm on air.
Right.
So it's like an anchoring professionally and personally as well. So, yeah, it's very important to me.
This is a very different rhythm from your day job.
There's a quietness and stillness here so that the artists can work.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're in live news, it's busy all the time. And then I'm sitting here in this armchair just chilling.
Chilling with a mug on a plinth.
I mean,
Couldn't be more different.
Couldn't be more different.
Enjoy it.
I'm thoroughly enjoying it.
Let's talk about jazz.
Yes.
So that's a different area of your life.
It's an accidental thing. I'm the accidental jazz pianist. But it's a very joyous thing to be able to do, to separate that from my writing life.
Are you a group of how many?
We are now a sextet.
Oh, right.
This is the J. Rayner Sextet, so everyone knows who to blame.
Now, this is all recorded in your cufflinks.
Yes, I found these in a little arcade in just off Piccadilly, little piano keys, and there is something about putting them on, and it's performative and a bit silly, but it's my silly.
That's all right.
Thanks, Joan.
Nihal, talk me through your object that you brought along.
When I leave my house with my wallet, my keys, and my headphones. They're an integral part of my job. I've spent the last, gosh, more than 25 years with headphones on pretty much on a daily basis. But also, as well, the nature of how you listen to music through headphones, the intimacy of it. I just love having headphones on.
So, where's the portrait going to go? Have you got a space for it?
That's a really good question. I don't know. I mean, our family are from Sri Lanka originally, and we have a place in Sri Lanka, and I'd like to put it there, actually.
Jay is just the perfect sitter. It's exactly what I asked for. A man with curly locks. He couldn't be better. Composition-wise, I've chosen just to home in on the head. It's very tempting to try and capture his love of jazz music. But for me, it's more about the feeling that he feels while he's immersed in that jazz.
Caroline de Pericave is a full-time artist from Surrey, whose self-portrait, painted in oil on canvas, took 14 hours to produce. She chose the composition to show confidence and purity.
Caroline, one of the things I really liked about your self-portrait was it seemed to me you broke a lot of the rules that go with that tradition. There you were, in a quintessentially male pose.
One of the reasons why I love that portrait so much is that has come through. I think in today's world, particularly being a female artist, there are those stereotypes, and it's quite interesting to push them.
Normally, I think that 4 hours is quite a challenge, you know, especially with this traditional method, but you've already got the head there. You could stop there and just focus on the rest of the canvas.
Oh, thank you.
It's going to be quite a masterpiece by the time you finish.
Thanks.
I feel like Nihal's personality is very warm, very bright. The colors that symbolize brightness and excitement and vibrancy. A bit like his background, he says he wants the painting to be in Sri Lanka. So I'm gonna fuse everything in, and we'll see what we get.
Leroy Zozo is a full-time artist who grew up living between London and France. He created his submission in 8 hours, in oils and pastels on wood. It shows him stirring from a sleep and wakening to new artistic opportunities.
Leroy, why are you painting Nihal upside down?
It's a different perspective to see where you go wrong with shapes and forms and so forth. So when I was looking at him the right side up, it wasn't coming out right. So I'm constantly fighting different angles.
But you are fighting the fact that behind Nihal is a bright orange, and you haven't put that in.
Ooh, the bright orange is part of it, man. That's gonna be the oomph of the whole thing.
So you're keeping that back? I like the discipline.
The artists are halfway through their portrait challenge.
I have blocked in the flat colour, which is where I'd normally stop, but Nihal's got a really amazing pattern suit, so I'm going to tackle the checks.
Timing is one thing I'm worried about, and I think being happy with it, producing something that you don't like with loads of people to look at it is just not a nice prospect.
It's going fine. I need to do quite a bit of work on getting a likeness. I want to make a painting that does Susanna justice.
Today's artists are 2 hours into their portraits of broadcaster Nihal Arthanayake, food critic Jay Rayner, and presenter Susanna Reid.
How are we all feeling? Yeah. Are you tired of my face?
Not at all. No, at all. I need another 4 hours of it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Bonds may have formed between the artists and sitters, but the judges have been busy forming opinions on the progress so far.
So 3 journalists sitting today, people who deal in words, but they're all giving very strong images, aren't they?
They're giving wonderful images, all of our sitters today.
Yeah, I think also the thing about having 3 sitters who aren't actors is that you're getting a very authentic...
What are you trying to say, Kate?
Sometimes
we're all
when
phonies.
sometimes when we have an actor, they might be slightly performing, but like you particularly take the personalities we have today, it's kind of their business for us to know them. So there's an openness. I think that's really coming across in the work.
Jay, what a presence.
I mean, every painting in art history, he would have been the ideal model for it, you know.
They would have been knocking down his door.
Caroline found a likeness almost immediately.
Well, Caroline said she works swiftly, and she's got that sort of very classical oil painting style. Actually, she got the likeness much earlier than people normally do who work in that way. So the danger there is that it just slips away, that you overpaint it.
Dale started off in a frenzy of gridding and then decided it was the wrong grid and started again.
Yeah.
Does that set him back?
It did set him back, but I think he's finding the likeness.
My worry is that I think he's so desperate to give us the complete head and shoulders and use this hyper-realist style that what we're seeing is nowhere near what the submission looks like. It's just sort of just feels half-cooked.
Gail's painting from life. How's she got the proportions right?
Who cares?
Who cares?
In a sense.
Yeah.
I can feel Jay's weight and the size of his hands, and there's a cubist kind of drawing to it, which is really, in itself, is a nice abstract shape. It's got nice rhythms in it. It's a nice bit of painting.
Oh, we did the shoulders. Yeah. Nihal's giving so much to his sitters, isn't he?
Nihal's been a great collaborator. He really wants to be part of it. That's what an artist wants to a certain degree, I think, at some point.
Right, let us get on with our job.
Yes.
In Paul's portrait of Nihal, we're seeing some of that colour that made his self-portrait stand out.
Yes, and I think that orange is just working so well for Paul and for Nihal. The intensity of the blue that we saw in Paul's self-portrait has sort of been replicated by the orange, and it's just beautiful.
Leroy normally does a drawing.
Yes.
He didn't, and is worried that it's undermining his painting.
I'm struggling to see anything at the moment because the work is mainly upside down every time I go past it.
Yeah, I think the fact that it's constantly upside down indicates that he thinks of proportion issues and likeness issues. He might have made a mistake by not doing the underdrawing.
Maria's really tackling the detail in Nihal's jacket. Is that a good idea?
It's a perfect idea. I think jacket is just absolutely gorgeous, and the fact that it's going to echo the grids on the right and that she can leave them there, I think is just going to be a charm.
Susanna is entranced by the different atmosphere here from her day job.
She's a great sitter. There's just a sort of perfect femininity to her.
Boy, does Emma put herself through the ringer when she paints.
I think Emma's mark-making, that kind of blunt object, and it does work in an impressionistic way.
Yeah, I think Emma builds, doesn't she? I mean, in the way we had to look and find her in her self-portrait. And I think we're going to end up having to do the same with Susanna to pull her out.
By contrast, next to her, Eleanor.
I'm amazed at how quickly she can work. So I think we're in a phase, actually, of this entire programme where photorealists are really working out how to be with us. It's really exciting to see, and I've got quite high hopes for Eleanor.
Is Drew getting your pulses racing?
He was. Susanna appeared, and it was very delicate, rather beautiful. And then we didn't keep an eye on him over lunch, and she's gone.
I don't think it's entirely gone, but I've been nervous about it since he got it so early on. I mean, it's really hard for the artists.
Obviously, as somebody who's on screen, I'd like them to capture something of the real me. I'm not performing today. I'm very much still and in a kind of meditation, so I wonder what they'll find.
For me, life is full of challenge. Therefore, for the artist, it must equally be full of challenge. If you want easy colour blocks, go see someone else. If, on the other hand, you want dog-tooth tweed, then you come and see me.
I found the experience today bizarre on a number of levels because it's voyeurism squared, this. The artists are looking at me, I'm looking at them, and then there's a crowd looking at all of us, and it's a bit odd. I'm looking for the kind of portrait that anybody who knows me will look at and go, yes, that's him.
Drew, in your self-portrait, I really love the thinness of the paint, the lightness of the colour. Here you've got some pretty full-on primary colours. Are they proving tricky?
They are.
Yeah.
I hoped it would bring out some of the tones in the face. I don't know if I've made the right decision or not.
OK, Emma, how far along do you think you are?
Quite far. I'm worried that I will need more time to get a likeness.
People very often fall into the likeness, don't they? Suddenly, it's there.
Yeah.
You'll find it, you'll find it.
Leroy, it's nice to see you're painting the right way round. It's the first time all day I've seen it. It's terrific.
Thank you.
How you getting on?
So now I'm punching in the background, making sure it pops.
OK. I mean, you are very active. You're back and forward, you're dancing around, you're talking to yourself.
I like it. It's like you're engaging, you're enjoying, you're in the process, you're in the zone, you know? Have a little wiggle while you're at it as well.
Why not?
As the end of the challenge approaches, the artists don't have long to find that elusive likeness.
Jay's probably getting a bit tired of sitting still, and to get that likeness, I need to scrutinise. So I'm going to turn it upside down and work from the photo.
I'm really pleased with how the likeness is going. From this point, it should just keep getting better. So that's hopefully what's going to happen.
I'm not sure that I've caught Nihal yet, but it's an improvement on earlier on this morning, so I'm feeling calmer now, yeah.
Nihal Arthanaika, Susanna Reid and Jay Rayner have been patiently posing for 4 hours.
What are we putting in? What can we put in? What else? Oh, the peach.
In the final few minutes, I'm just doing Nihal's facial hair. I will get it done, but it's going to be really tight. Really tight.
How'd you make peach? Okay. Nice and juicy.
I'm trying to sort out the bottom right-hand corner, which is drawing the eye far too much.
Artists, you have 5 minutes left. 5 minutes. Be afraid. Be very, very afraid.
Allez.
I finished all the drawing. I wish I had time to do one more square, but I didn't.
The tiniest stroke can change everything, so it's a bit seat of your pants.
Artists, your time is up.
Please put down your equipment and step away from your artwork.
The competition has come to a close, which means our sitters now have a difficult decision to make.
How was it?
It was, without doubt, the most surreal experience of my life.
Are you emotionally ready for this? Are you
No.
prepared? Are you psychologically prepared?
No.
OK, good. That's what we want. Artists, can I please ask you to turn your easels?
Wow.
Pretty extraordinary, huh?
Yeah. Gosh.
Should we have a closer look?
Yeah.
Yeah. Paul, terrific portrait.
It's just so beautiful. I actually think you've really captured how I want to be perceived by the world, which is kind of relaxed. Yeah, that's stunning.
Thank you, Paul.
Wow.
Right, Leroy.
I was transfixed by you because you had a conversation with yourself throughout it.
Just flows. I see something, I'm like, oh man, this is cool. I'm like, oh, this one's juicy, or this one's curvy.
Juicy, okay.
Nice.
Nice.
The page stroke.
Merci.
Ah, je t'en prie.
Finally, this beautiful portrait with the suit.
With the suit,
Oh,
with
yeah.
the suit, with the suit. I'm lost for words, but this is so extraordinary. Wow.
Lovely, Maria. Thank you very much. I'm sorry to have to do this to you, but you have to pick one and one only.
You horrible man. Maria.
Thank you so much. Would you like to turn your easels round?
Well, I never. Blimey. It's a lot of work in a very short period of time. Wow. Hello, Caroline.
Hi.
There's this version of me, a caricature of me, which is he's angry and cross. But that makes me look rather soft and warm and lovely. I look like I want to give myself a hug. Thank you very much.
Let's move on to Dale. This is a really thorough look at you.
Isn't it? Blimey.
Well done.
The detail on that is insane. That's definitely me. Thank you.
It is. Well done. And now we go over to Gail.
That's gorgeous. I love the use of colour, because I didn't present you with much of that. It was all on the wall behind me, wasn't it? But you've reflected it back.
Thank you.
It's really striking. Thank you.
OK, Jay, you have a choice to make. One of three to take home with you.
Well, this is the hard bit, isn't it? But it's that one go.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Artists, please. Turn your easels.
Oh my goodness! It's three me's.
Should we have a closer look? Emma, who has lived every second of this day, haven't you?
This is just wonderful. You've managed to create a whole person from these, you keep calling them marks. Just lovely. Thank you. Oh, Eleanor, that's unbelievable. I feel like I want to go in just to check it's not a photograph. It's phenomenal. Thank you.
Thanks, Eleanor.
Thank you. Drew, you went full on with the reds, didn't you? And I'm so glad you've kept it there. That's incredible. Thank you.
Right, a decision has to be made.
Oh, it's the most nerve-wracking thing I've done, and I've worked with Piers Morgan. Drew, I'm going to pick yours.
As the artists take a well-deserved rest to reflect on the day, things are ramping up for our judges.
I've got to think Jay was the perfect model for Gail. That sort of ambitious, horizontal composition. I thought it was very clever.
She observes the way the light actually falls. She's got his heft in the chair. You feel his physicality.
I think it's extraordinary that Dale could produce this much in one day, and he's allowed himself to become looser and freer and get the job done.
The bravura of Caroline's approach, you sort of feel the paintbrushes in her hand going into the paint and then straight onto the canvas.
She knows about her colour values and tones, and it's just, how does she do it? Drew captured a serious, thinking Susanna here.
I think it's a beautiful portrait, but the thing that actually I'm not keen on is the background. I think it bears no relationship to the portrait.
Eleanor's technically is just extraordinary. I think the problem here is that Eleanor's disrupting, but then thinking, oh, but I'm doing a portrait, and then stopping herself really going for it.
I find that Emma's work, you have to work to find the portrait, to find the elements, to put it all together. And then when it arrives, it feels so right and so perfect.
Maria's Nihal is just so open and friendly. It's just a very lovely portrait.
I was just really pleased that Maria found a way to stick with her style of keeping her subject around the edges of her board.
I think what's great about Leroy is he doesn't really want to give us a portrait so much as a scene. So he got the interesting painting. He didn't necessarily fulfill the likeness. I think he's a great young talent.
There's something so sweet and touching about Paul's portrait of Nihal. The way in which he's positioned the hand so delicately.
I love the way that the orange works here. This is a really lovely painting.
Artists, it's been a pleasure watching you all work today. Thank you for that.
The judges have been scrutinising your portraits and have decided on a short list of 3. The first artist is Gail Reid.
The second artist is Paul Aston.
And the third artist is Caroline de Perikov.
It's just been a whirlwind, complete whirlwind.
Well done, Eleanor.
I think everyone's done such a good job. I don't know how the judges will pick. They might fight, probably.
To decide who'll land a coveted place in the semi-final, our judges review today's shortlisted portraits alongside the artists' submissions.
Judges, here we have 3 artists, each with their submission and their work today. What do you make of that?
I think what's interesting is normally we say, oh my goodness, I can't believe how different they all are from each other. But actually today we've got 3 paintings that don't exist in completely different territory. You'd think that might make it easier to judge, but actually it's going to probably make it harder.
So Caroline paints in a particular way.
For someone who's trying to break that mould a little bit, challenging the masculine, feminine roles of the ways in which artists presented themselves, I think she was doubly challenged today to do that with Jay, given his historicism in the way he looks. Having said that, it's a beautifully rendered head.
And the tones are beautiful. Most importantly, the way Caroline puts paint down, it's just yummy.
Paul and his orange. Why is he in the final 3?
I loved Paul's submission so much. I thought it was so clever to do something which was so full of animation. I think actually I like what he did today even more because he's found an equivalent. It still gives you the same sensation that you're looking at a real person who's really experiencing something.
But the portrait is defined by the look of the eye, isn't it?
Finally, we come to Gail's Gail and Gail's Jay. Both quite moody.
There is a mood of general grumpiness in both of them and slight chaos.
Yes.
And there's not much detail, but you really get a sense of the person's purpose. There's something about the body language that Gail is talking about so successfully.
Well, there we go. That's the short list you've chosen. You now have to pick one to go through to the semi-final.
Paul, Caroline, Gail, you've all done amazingly well today, so congratulations. Sadly, you can't all go forward.
The artist we will be seeing again in the semi-final has exhibited an ambitious approach and created a powerful sense of their sitter. And that artist is Gail Reid.
I can't believe I've won. I am on cloud 9 and somewhat lost for words.
Caroline, well done.
I knew Gail was going to get it. The composition was so unique. She really, really deserved it.
Congratulations.
We're so excited about Gail because she opens up another sort of angle in portraiture. She can conjure up character and personality. That's where she finds likeness. We've never seen that before.
Well done. See you in a couple of weeks. It hasn't sunk in, the semi-final. So, yes, I'm thrilled and somewhat nervous about what lies ahead.
If you'd like to find out more about the show and the work of the artists featured in it, go to skyartsartistoftheyear.tv.
Former Cabinet Minister Rory Stewart, TV chef Ainsley Harriott and comedy actor Rob Delaney and another 9 talented members of the public in the next heat of Sky Arts Portrait Artist of the Year next Wednesday night at 8.